People often say that human nature is fixed, that it's impossible to change, especially overnight. The ego, they say, is the most stubborn part of us. But what if that's not entirely true? What if the ego isn't even real in the way we think it is? You see, trying to let go of the ego with the ego is like a dog chasing its own tail. It can go on forever. The truth is, life is a grand game, a cosmic play, and you forgot you're a participant. The pressure, the fear, the persistent sense of lack or failure, all of it is part of the illusion. And the most unsettling revelation? On some deeper, forgotten level of your being, you chose this. You willingly entered this experience to feel, to suffer, to lose, to love. Alan Watts offers a radical perspective. Life isn't happening to you, it's happening through you, and you helped script the show. He likens existence to a play, a performance in which you are both actor and audience. But the problem arises when you forget this truth. When you become so immersed in the role that you mistake it for your identity. You believe the suffering is permanent, the loss is ultimate, and the fear is final. But they're just parts of the narrative. What if fear wasn't your enemy? What if the real challenge wasn't feeling fear, but resisting it? Watts introduces the idea of metaphysical courage, a bravery not meant for battlefields, but for the inner world. It's about facing your pain and not running from it. Not because you're numb or indifferent, but because you understand that every storm is a part of the theater. How often do you find yourself in a loop of worry? One problem solved only reveals another beneath it. It's like peeling an infinite onion, each layer hiding another cause for anxiety. You worry about finances, then about your health, your future, your relationships, and so on. The world has taught you that worry equals responsibility, that if you don't worry, you're careless or naive. But Watts flips that idea. Worrying isn't a sign of awareness. It's a symptom of forgetting. Forgetting that you're in a play. Forgetting that you chose to feel all of this. And the way out isn't to fight harder, but to remember. To remember that fear is part of the role, not the whole story. When this remembrance sinks in, everything shifts. Pain still exists, but it loses its grip. Fear still arises, but it doesn't define you. For the first time, you begin to engage with life as a conscious player, not a prisoner of the plot. That's what this video invites you to do. Not to adopt a new belief, but to remember a forgotten truth. You don't need to win the game. You just need to wake up to it. Imagine. The stage is life, and you helped design the set, chose the script, and jumped in with no memory of doing so. Watts believed that existence itself is the universe playing hide and seek with itself. That you and I, and everyone else, are expressions of a cosmic game. A divine drama unfolding through countless forms. This isn't to say your pain isn't real. It is. But it has a purpose. Every moment, whether filled with grief, joy, rage, or awe, is part of the experience you chose. Think of it like watching a powerful film. You cry, you tremble, you laugh, and yet, you never forget it's a movie. That's the awareness we've lost. Watts said that contrast gives life meaning. Without darkness, light has no value. Without suffering, joy loses its richness. That's why forgetting is necessary. So the remembering can be profound. But most of us live in panic, trying to control every outcome, forgetting that the chaos itself is sacred. Fear, pain, and loss are not mistakes. They're features. But when you remember this, when you see the fear as just another scene, it doesn't consume you. Instead of bracing against life, you start to dance with it. But be warned, the ego will resist. This character you wear fights for survival. It craves control. It fears surrender. And here's Watts's boldest invitation, to cultivate metaphysical courage, not the strength to fight the world, but the bravery to stop resisting it, to feel everything and stay. That's the essence of this spiritual courage. Think about it. How often have you tried to escape your emotions? You feel anxious, so you scroll. You feel sad, so you distract. You feel afraid, so you avoid. But all this running only feeds the monster. True transformation begins when you stop trying to fix what you feel, when you stop judging yourself for being afraid or uncertain. Emotions are like weather, natural, spontaneous, fleeting. The problem isn't fear, it's your resistance to it. It's the belief that feeling fear means something is wrong with you. The samurai understood this. That's why they practiced Zen, to reach a state of absolute presence, where even the prospect of death could not shake them. They weren't fearless. They were unresisting. They faced the storm without flinching because they knew. Under the raised sword lies both terror and transcendence. Maybe you're thinking, I'm not a samurai. I panic. I avoid. I tremble. And that's okay. Watt said, don't try not to be afraid. Just stop fearing your fear. When you allow it to exist without feeding it stories, it begins to dissolve. This is how the cycle unravels. Worry becomes presence. Fear becomes awareness. Resistance becomes surrender. And in that surrender, you reclaim your power. But what keeps this loop alive? Why do we keep falling back into anxiety even when we know it's a game? Because of a hidden addiction. An addiction to worry. Worry becomes a mental reflex, a compulsive need to feel in control. You tell yourself that worrying prevents bad things from happening. That tension is the price of safety. But that's a myth. It's just noise. Watts argued that constant worry is emotional self-sabotage, a distraction from facing the emptiness. In moments of peace, the mind becomes uncomfortable. It whispers, you should be worried. Something's not right. Why? Because without problems to solve, we're left with a deeper question. Who am I without all this noise? Many people don't know how to rest. They feel guilty for being still, anxious in the silence. And so they create problems to solve. They live in a state of endless alertness, interpreting every minor threat as a catastrophe. This is the onion of anxiety. One layer peels back, only to reveal another. You fix one issue and immediately find another to worry about. The cycle never ends because the mind is stuck in problem mode. But there is a way out. It starts with a shift in perception, a new relationship with fear. Instead of tightening up when fear appears, what if you softened? What if you welcomed it like a thunderstorm? You don't control lightning. You witness it. You don't stop the rain. You feel it. What if you treated emotions the same way? Rather than resisting sadness, you could observe it. Rather than fighting anger, you could watch it rise and fall. This isn't passivity. It's participation. Watts invites us to become observers, not fixers. To meet our inner chaos with reverence, not resistance. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent. It means becoming intimate with your experience. You start seeing fear as heat from a flame. It's not personal. It's just energy. You don't panic when you feel warmth. You adjust your distance. Why not do the same with fear? Suppression fragments you. Every rejected emotion becomes a knot in your being. But when you allow the emotion to exist, it reintegrates. You become more whole. You reclaim parts of yourself lost to shame and resistance. This is emotional alchemy, turning fear into presence, pain into power, vulnerability into depth. And from that depth, a new life emerges. Life doesn't stop testing you. Meditation won't cancel the chaos. Wisdom won't prevent loss. But you can walk through it all with awareness. True awakening isn't about escaping the play. It's about remembering it as a play. You can cry, you can hurt, you can lose. but all of it is part of the dance. You don't need to conquer life. There's no scoreboard, no judge. You're here to feel, to wander through the highs and lows again and again with open eyes. When you stop resisting, when you stop needing things to be different than they are, you liberate yourself. Not because the world changes, but because you do. You stop being the puppet. You become the dancer. Metaphysical courage is this: to keep moving forward under the weight of uncertainty, to stare into the unknown and whisper, yes, I accept. I feel it all. That's what this journey is about. In a world that tells you to numb out, to avoid, to fight, choosing to stay awake is a quiet rebellion. Now, I ask you, what part of this message stirred something in you? At what moment did you forget it was all a game? Leave a comment. Your reflection might wake someone else up. And if this message speaks to you, don't stop here. The next chapter is waiting. Let's keep walking together. Remember, the best is yet to come.